Hello, and greetings, lovely person. This is RPGmodsFan, and in this video, I will be reviewing and discussing the third and final D&D module in the G series, G3 Hall of the Fire Giant King, which was written by the legendary Gary Gygax and published by TSR in 1978. This module was written for AD&D First Edition rules. The G series was meant for player characters between the levels of 8 to 12. By the time they get to the G3 module, they should be at 10th or 11th level. Dungeon Magazine updated the G series modules for 4th edition D&D. The G3 module update was done by Chris Perkins in the March 2012 Dungeon Magazine issue number 200. The G-Series modules were updated for D&D 5th edition rules in the Tales from the Yawning Portal adventure book, which was published in 2017. The changes that were made were minimal. To Wizards of the Coast. Sorry to be critical, but Chris Perkins did a better job of updating the G-Series modules in Dungeon Magazine. Chris provided boxed text to many rooms that were needed for both the original G3 module and the Tales version. Here we have a missed opportunity. What is also odd is that Tales from the Yawning Portal reused art from the Dungeon magazines, but not the text. Minimal editing work would have been needed to be done to incorporate Chris's work into the Tales from the Yawning Portal. On my YouTube channel, I have already reviewed the first and second modules in the G series. G1, Steeding of the Hill Giant Chief, and G2, the Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl. In them, I already discussed many things about the G series. So as to not repeat myself in this video, I recommend watching those videos before this one. The overall plot hook of the G series is as follows. Giants of different sorts have been marauding and raiding civilized lands. The angered human rulers of these lands hired the player characters to punish the miscreant giants. The human nobles suspect there is an unknown force binding together the different giant groups. The player characters are instructed to garner information on what or who is behind the alliance of giants, and communicate their findings as fast as possible back to the human nobles. The adventure starts just outside of the Fire Giant's Hall, in a mountainous, hot, and smoking barren wasteland. A few lava flows can be seen in many directions, as well as fire from ignited gas being expelled out of natural vents. The hall itself is built into an active volcano. I will now be discussing the module itself, and this video will contain spoilers. Unless you are a dungeon master who will be running this module for their players, or are a player who already played through this module and are watching this video for nostalgia purposes, I would suggest not to watch the rest of this video. Displayed is a side-by-side comparison of the first level of the Hall of the Fire Giants from the original module and the Tales from the Yawning Portal version. Most of the first and second levels are lit by torches, braziers, and natural gas jets. Displayed is a side-by-side comparison of the second level of the Hall of the Fire Giants from the original module and the Tales from the Yawning Portal version. And lastly, Displayed is a side-by-side comparison of the third and lowest level of the hall from the original module and the Tales version. Most of it is unlit. The third level consists of natural lava-formed caverns, caves, and tunnels. At the northwest corner is a river of lava. Also at the northwest corner is the entryway into the Underdark. The Dark Elf Eclabdra, the matron of the Eelserv's house, is the one who organized the Alliance of Giants. She and her drow companions are the real puppet masters pulling the strings of the giants. The drow noble house of Eelserv's is from the drow city of Erelai Senlu, which is the setting of the D3 Vault of the Drow module. The vast majority of drow have been brainwashed to worship Loth. However, Eclabdra and her house no longer worship Loth, and instead now worship the Elder Elemental God, a Lovecraftian type of deity. Although she is present in the G3 module, she is not meant to be the final boss. She instead is meant to be the final boss in the D3 module. The leader of the fire giants is King Snur Ironbelly. He is known to be strong, he has storm giant strength, but not smart. He is meant to be the main villain in this module. On the first level, chamber number 3 is his throne room and audience chamber. When he is here, he will have 2 hellhounds beside him and his 4 fire giant bodyguards. Tales from the Yawning Portal reduces his number of bodyguards down to 2. If need be, there is a secret exit behind the throne he can use to escape. King Snur's private chambers is chamber number 7. There will also be 6 hellhounds here. Queen Frupi is a harridan, a scolding vicious hag, a shrew. Definitely a shrew I would not want to tame. Her private quarters is chamber number 5. There are a number of fire giants, male and female, throughout the first level. With the exception of Queen Frupi, King Snur, and his bodyguards, how many fire giants are in the chamber is displayed on the map as a yellow number. Keep in mind that if the alarm is raised, they can be deployed elsewhere. Also, the Tales from the Yawning Portal version reduces the number of fire giants encountered in this adventure. Because of the numerous times I will be referring to the Tales from the Yawning Portal, I will now and then simply refer to it as just Tales. Chamber number 20 is the communal quarters. In here are 5 female fire giants and 15 children. Again, the Tales version decreases these numbers. Guarding the Grand Hall before the throne room are 2 Etons. King Snur's treasury is in cave number 9. There are 8 trunks, 6 chests, and 5 coffers here. The original G3 module has treasure both in terms of coin and magical items than the Tales version. Right before the treasure cave, in cave number 8, is a 10-headed pyrohydra. Obami is a renegade mountain dwarf who has served as advisor to King Snur for 25 years. At the start of the adventure, he will be in his study, which is room number 12A. His study has a peephole to the overall chamber. In here are his 8 gnoll servants and bodyguards. If the player characters are winning against the gnolls, Obami will cry out for help and he will claim to be a victim and prisoner of the giants. Room number 13 is Snor's council chamber. On scrolls within the southern alcove of this chamber, the player characters can find clues of Eclavja's and the Droll's involvement in the Alliance of Giants. As a dungeon master, I would have several scrolls giving such clues, such as an initial request for an audience, instructions for the king to gather forces of hill, stone, frost, and fire giants for an all-out attack on the provinces to the east and northeast, and promises of powerful help from the Drow. Many of these scrolls are signed by Eclavja. Guest chamber number 17 is barred from the outside. King Snor does not fully trust his guests. Trapped inside are 3 Rakshasas. The Tales version reduces the number to just 1. The Rakshasas will take some benign form, such as that of a fellow adventurer, a kindred soul, etc., to gain the player character's confidence. Although not as many in the level above, there are a number of fire giants in the second level. Again, the Tales from the Yawning Portal decreases the number of fire giants found. Chamber number 5 is the community quarters. In here are 10 male and female fire giants and 8 children. If the Hill Giant Chief and his wife survive the onslaught from the G1 and G2 modules, then they will have fled to the Fire Giants Hall. They will also have 2 cave bears with them. Otherwise, 4 or 5 hill giants will be in chamber number 4. Likewise, if the Frost Giant Jarl and his wife survived from the G2 module, they will also have fled to the Fire Giants Hall, and will be quartered in room 13. Accompanying them will be 2 Frost Giant guards. Visiting the Fire Giants Hall are 4 stone giants, 2 in the Tales version. They are working for King Snor as engineers. Cavern number 6 is the smithy. Molten lava is flowing at the western half of the cavern. Here, the fire giant blacksmith, Zarkad, a name that Chris Perkins gave him in Dungeon Magazine, is noisily hammering away here. Prisoners are held in various cells at this level. The most notable ones are as follows. The elven princess Moon Shadow, a name that Chris Perkins gave the NPC, is in cell number 1C. She is marked for sacrifice at the temple, which is at the northwest corner of this level. Tied up in cell 5C are 2 centaurs who are bound for torture and execution. By the way, the torture chamber is room number 7 on the map. In cell 9C is 1 troll being used for torture practice. Chained in cell 13C is the fire giant Baldo, who was the king's lieutenant. He is desperate to get back into the king's favor. In order to be freed, he will say to the player characters that he can gather several fire giants to aid them in overthrowing the king. He will, of course, betray the player characters at the first opportunity. In cell 12C is an attractive human female chained to the wall. She is an 11th level rogue and is a kleptomaniac. Chamber number 12 is the reveal of the BBEG, the Big Bad Evil Guy. Well, in this case, I should say gal. The main entrance is hidden by a wall of tentacles. which at first looks like a brown-purple stone wall. It will strike any non-drow getting too close. This magic wall is like two ropers combined into one creature. Purple cloth are hung on the walls of the chamber. The floor is thickly carpeted in black, and the chamber is lit by black candles. In Dungeons & Dragons, the Drow, also known as Dark Elves, make their debut in this module and in this chamber. Up to this point, in Gary Gygax's D&D world, the Drow were only legend and myth to surface dwellers. There are 3 female Dark Elf priestesses in this chamber, 2 curates and their leader, Eklavdra. As a dungeon master, I would highly recommend making this a role-playing encounter instead of a combat encounter. As stated earlier, Eklavdra is meant to be the final boss in the D3 module. If combat breaks out, have her exclaim,
"I don't have time for this,"
and escape. One possibility that Chris Perkins suggests in Dungeon Magazine is that the Eklavdra here is a clone. King Snur wants the Cloud Giants to join the Alliance of Giants. In chamber number 14 are 2 Cloud Giants here in talks with the king. They also brought with them their 2 pet lions. On the 3rd level, at the start of the adventure, 8 Fire Giants, 2 in the Tales version, will be in cavern number 5. Except for the Drow, in a crisis situation, the king, queen, and important enemy NPCs will retreat to this cavern. Cavern number 6 has the illusion of a sleeping red dragon on top of a mound of treasure. In reality, there is a Gorgon in here whose breath weapon can turn creatures into stone. The real red dragon is in cavern number 7. His name is Brazenwall, and he has spell-casting abilities. Some of the other denizens of the 3rd level include gray oozes, ropers, fire lizards, giant fire beetles, hellhounds, piercers, trolls layering in a complex of 3 stinking caverns, and green slime. There are quite a number of drow in the 3rd level. How many and where is displayed as yellow numbers on the map. And yes, the Tales version reduces the number of drow here. The entrance to the Underdark and the start of the D1 module, Descent into the Depths of the Earth, is at the northwest corner of the map. If outmatched, the important drow NPCs will retreat into the Underdark. In cavern number 16 is the drow priestess Nedeline and her followers. She is a rival of Eklavdra and is here to check up on her progress. Mineral deposits in cavern number 17 make it glitter and sparkle. In here are 3 mind flayers who are observing what the drow are up to. The drow basically ignore them. Before the entrance to the Underdark is a river of lava. Enjoying this inferno are 2 salamanders. Almost 5 meters above the lava is a rope bridge. Cavern number 20 serves as Eklavdra's council chamber. Here she will retreat and make a stand. However, to me, this does not make tactical sense. By making a stand here, she is effectively cornering herself. To me, it makes more tactical sense if she makes a stand by the entrance to the Underdark, where she has an escape route. The player characters can find a partial map of the Underdark in Eklavdra's council chamber. As a dungeon master, if you plan on running the D-Series modules, then have copies of this map in possession of the other important drow in this module. And so ends the G3 Hall of the Fire Giant King module. The only new monster that makes its debut in this module are the drow. Before the G3 module came out, there was little mention of the Dark Elves in any previous Dungeons & Dragons material. In the first edition of the Monster Manual, as a subrace under Elves, the drow only get a passing mention. It states that the drow are myth and legend. Nowadays, the drow are so well known, such as their chaotic evil nature. They are a matriarchal-based society. The vast majority of them worship the demon goddess Loth. That I feel it would be redundant to describe them here. Starting from this module, the drow would go on to become one of the most infamous humanoids in all of the D&D worlds. Here are some pointers when running them in combat encounters. The drow have superior dark vision when compared to other races. They have 120 feet or 36 meters of dark vision compared to 60 feet or 18 meters for elves and dwarves. They should use this to their advantage. In combat, where possible, I keep the drow out of visual range of the player characters and attack them with ranged weapons for as long as possible. Roll credits. The original G-Series modules did not have proper credits sections. So, displayed are the credits found within the G1 to 3 against the Giants module. Thank you for watching. Hope this video has been informative and entertaining. I love many types of role-playing games, especially Dungeons & Dragons. Inclusive in my wayward love is computer role-playing games. So, in the foreseeable future, I plan on continuing to feature RPGs and CRPGs. Till next time, this is RPGmodsFan saying cheers, have a good day, and goodbye.
Just turn the heat up high. We'll be dancing on the fire, you and I. Want you to lose control while we let it all turn into smoke. When the nights are long, I'm missing you. It devours my soul. And the life goes on, I think of you. In the cycle and roll. You need to stay, I need you to be here with me. Babe, it's not hard to see. Got into loving you, I'll make you love me too. Baby, that's what I do. Turn the heat up high. We'll be dancing on the fire, you and I. Want you to lose control. Wanna let it all turn into smoke. When the days are running, passing by, feeling down and behind, but I see you're shining anyway. Please enlighten me, babe. You need to stay, I need you to be here with me. Baby, it's not hard to see. Got into loving you, I'll make you love me too. Baby, that's what I do. Just turn the heat up high. We'll be dancing on the fire, you and I. Want you to lose control while we let it all turn into smoke. Feeling